This is the other side of Kirk Franklin prank. This is the reckoning. 2024.
Said Shannon Sharp don't mess with black women.
My grandmother told me something when I was a little boy. She said, boy, never chase a lie.
Come on.
I got black kids.
That's what I said. I said that baby's black.
Katt will say 2,000 things that don't make sense, right? But then say 4 things that make sense and put sir after it.
The glass was half full, sir. I just filled it to the top, sir. Man goes to bed with an itchy ass. He wakes up with a smelly finger, sir.
On today's episode of Mystery Illness.
Mystery illness. What the fuck?
Happy New Year, guys. Today's episode will be on the expose culture created, started by Katt Williams. 2024 was the year of exposing. Celebrity exposure.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
That sounded crazy, innit? Celebrity exposés really and truly was the hallmark of the year. If it wasn't Meek Mill's,
You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
He called Meek Mill daddy.
I just was doing what felt right for the stroke. You know what I'm saying? You know, like.
Diddy,
Out of those 8 videos, 8 celebrities, 6 men and 2 women, how many of those 8 celebrities were close to being underage or potentially underage?
2 males.
2 males. And of those 8 celebrities, how many of them were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs?
All of them. All of them.
Steve Harvey.
The second week, I did 2 weeks of the Steve Harvey show. I did 1 day of Hip Hop Squares, the show D-Ray used to host. And I filmed 3 episodes in 1 day of Hip Hop Squares and made 4 times the money I made doing 2 weeks of the Steve Harvey show. And I go, well, this is backwards. I'm just a square. I'm one of 9, and I'm not even the host. And I made more money on Hip Hop Squares than I did being, there's only 2 people on the show every week, me and Steve. And I go, they weren't even trying to hear anything I said.
Tyler Perry.
And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of their club.
Oprah Winfrey.
So Rose McGowan has put Oprah on blast.
He seemingly suggested in the caption that Oprah knew the Hollywood producer was mistreating women.
And if we make this just about Harvey Weinstein, then we will have lost this moment.
She said my brother wanted to come on the show and talk about me. I said I don't want nothing to do with that cat. I shared with her that me and my mother was not talking. I shared with her I was hurt. I don't need the world seeing how greedy my mother is. So to put our brother Michael Jackson, I'll say try to taint that man's legacy, and he can't defend himself. Who does that?
In a sense, Oprah will say what Oprah wants to say to get the interview, you know, and she's done that to our family many times.
We were so concerned about what was happening in Maui. This is what you do. The People's Fund of Maui.
I mean, no one was safe from the expose. And I thought, you know, what better way to start the year than to do a little revisionist history on what happened before. And was it a good thing Katt Williams' interview? Was he even telling the truth? Let's get into that. Before we get into that, please do me one quick favor. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. In order for the channel to grow, I'm going to need your support. So please hit the subscription button. If you like the episode, put it into the comment section why. Like the button. Wow, I'm all over the place. It's been a while, but we're here. 2025, mistakes happen, we move. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the episode. Like I said, it's been almost a year since the episode of Katt Williams on Club Shay Shay came about, and not too soon after the Monique episode dropped, which was equally as explosive in terms of its expose and exposing the dark inner workings of Hollywood.
Only for Tyler Perry to admit he did start a rumor that I was difficult to work with. He lied only for Tyler Perry to admit I was wrong. And when my movie Boo come out, I'm gonna say that, right? Now here's where, when you did that interview with Katt, I could respect how you do it. Because Katt said you let them people lie in your face. And your response was, Katt, I don't know if they're lying or not.
Right.
Because I can only take them at their word.
At their word.
Right?
Yes.
Well, we sent you the audio of Tyler Perry. I don't want you to take me at my word. I want you to hear his words. And what did you hear that man saying? What did you hear that man saying?
He said it.
What did he say?
Monique, you know you're not supposed to be recording people.
No. Let me back up. Okay. Everything we did was legal.
What really happened? Were they telling the truth? Well, Katt Williams was probably his episode, I found, was in some ways very insightful, truthful, but in another way was his version of events.
I'm saying, so I'm not just reading, I'm reading in multiple languages. Like I'm probably reading 3,000 books a year from the time that I'm 8 years old to the time that I'm 12.
And him speaking his truth after being blackballed. And it's understandable for him to be frustrated, annoyed, and to come with his own version of events, which doesn't mean he's lying. I think for the most part, from everything that I had researched into it, seems to be true. There were some discrepancies there. I don't know why Shannon Sharpe never questioned him on this incident.
Here, niggas booing me. But when I'm in the back, they love me like an Israeli. It's like niggas be Jewing me. And your girl got my penis in her mouth, like she bubblegum chewing me. I'm sick with it, motherfucker. Like E40, I got the flu in me. I get new money from new dummies. It's like I got new in me. And these got the nerve to boo the Savior, booing Christ, the Son of God. It don't really matter. They can boo me twice. I'm twice as hard. You might as well give me 20. How much the album costs, boy. But I bet if you can walk to your car, I can show your a dick she'll enjoy. So why don't you take your pussy ass on over there, nigga, before I catch you? Or you can pull your bank out and I'll match you. But you ain't gonna do shit but get punched in the face.
And I can understand why. He may have felt that he had covered it when he asked him about his drug intake, saying he was never on drugs. He had alluded to taking a lot of alcohol at one point in his career, and there has been reports of a mental health relapse at one stage in his career too. So we don't want to harp on that too much. However, I believe that moment of not questioning him allowed people to presume, because at one point Katt Williams was presumed to be wacky, all over the place, a mess. I can't use all the videos, I can only use stills, but you can get the picture of how people understood him to be a bit crazy, and we led to the events where people started to believe Orlando Bloom.
Right now, I'm not condoning what it sounds like on when Will Smith get in the on video and camera and audio. I'm not trying to condone what it sounds like when Meek Mill getting in the.
What's up with Nick? If you compare your career to somebody, who would it be?
Michael Jackson. That's me.
Never. You're a liar.
What? Lying ass nigga. Fucking lying ass nigga. Nigga, I'm Mike. You lying ass nigga. What are you talking about? Where's Nick?
Is this where I protect you?
I know many people will say, not many people believe Orlando Brown, but he's been put on some big platforms like No Jumper, DJ Vlad, as if he's a credible source. You got Jagger Wright, who, I get it, if you've watched this before, you probably know how I feel about her. But just for anyone who hasn't, I think she's a total fraud. She's outed herself. And she's not believable. However, Katt Williams, seemingly enigmatic figure in the public eye, confusing, seeming to be a mess, however presenting as not being proven how that was a lie, I believe allowed that into it. It allowed the discourse for these more wackier theories to come into play. And anyone who can articulate themselves half well gets believed as well. I mean, we have got to a stage where we're not questioning the evidence. How do you know this? Why haven't you spoke out about it before? I mean, the Meek Mill gay jokes have reached a fever pitch. I mean, he actually responds to them. They're hilarious, some of his responses.
Yo, Shaw, what's up?
Yeah, y'all already know how we playing out this
real life.
No Diddy Gang, Meek Millie in real life. Don't ever disrespect me. You heard?
However, why is this so damaging to the public? I think it creates an erosion of trust in mainstream institution, and that is the age of the times.
Well, first, maybe they're not experts, but secondly, the trust in federal government has gone down from the time of the Vietnam War. When the Vietnam War was being waged, many people lost confidence in the government. Watergate compounded that.
Yeah.
And then since that time, we've had a lot of government officials say a lot of things that are just not true. And I think the Trump era also had some impact on that as well. But also remember, in the old days, when I was young, you were not even probably born, we had a situation where you had 3 news shows in the evening. That's where people got their news: CBS, NBC, and ABC. No cable. Everybody, newspapers were very, only a couple newspapers that were really national newspapers. That's what you got your news from. Now everybody's got a podcast. Everybody's got a TV show. Everybody's an interviewer. Everybody watches things. There should be a bumper sticker say, "Hunk if you don't have your own podcast."
It's a good bumper sticker.
Everybody's got a podcast. Yeah. Everybody's an interviewer. So there's so much information coming into people. You're bound to be wrong, and you're bound to disappoint people. So I don't know that the experts are less good than they used to be, but the willingness of people to accept authority, accept the government as knowing what it's doing. For example, take the most recent elections. Everybody said it was going to be a red wave. The House was going to be overwhelmingly Republican, and the Senate would go Republican. People were wrong. Yeah. People were wrong.
Speak of their distrust, their disdain towards the elites, rich people. It does mirror a time in the French Revolution of the guillotine. I've spoke about it before, but there was a literal digital guillotine that happened.
Why is digital guillotine targeting big-name celebrities? Digital guillotine or digitine is a social movement where users block celebrities and influencers on digital platforms. The movement gained momentum after influencer Hailey Khalil posted a controversial video referencing Marie Antoinette's Latin cake during the Met Gala, echoing Marie Antoinette's infamous words to starving peasants. The backlash was swift, with many viewing the post as insensitive amid global conflicts and economic struggles. The movement's origins trace back to TikTok user Lady from the Outside, who called for blocking celebrities who are not using their resources and positions to help those in need. The movement's advocates argue that blocking celebrities impacts their economic power, as follower counts influence brand partnerships. While some see this as a form of cancel culture, proponents believe it's a way to demand accountability and social change. Critics argue it oversimplifies complex issues and won't achieve real-world change. Despite differing opinions, the digitine reflects growing frustration with perceived elitism and the role of social media in amplifying voices.
The Katt Williams interview was an example of where many people focused on more exposing their least favorite celebrities or anyone who did anything that seemed to be somewhat negative.
Competition is a driving force. And I don't require anybody to be better. Who am I? I just require if you're a loser and you've taken shortcuts at every chance and you've made sure that you didn't put anybody on that really had a work ethic and was a God-fearing person and you helped that. If that was never you, then don't act like that's you. Don't get out here now that you don't do stand-up and start acting like, oh, you're not sure why you don't do stand-up no more. I heard you got run off. You better be careful. The nigga that run you off gonna show up and he gonna tell everybody. Man, what you gonna be able to say? Nothing. Why you think I speak with such clarity? I'm actually involved in each one of these stories I told you about.
We're not looking at the bigger picture, the broader picture of the context, the culture, the institutions that support them. And I think that has been missed out of, at least what Monique was saying, and to a larger degree, Katt Williams' overall point. However, you would need to take him in his full entirety. Why for that?
Pause. Pause what?
You said something gay, so you gotta say no homo, or else you the homo.
Like I said, you would have to have viewed many of his comedy shows, many of his content interviews. The Joe Rogan one is a great example. It's 3.5 hours, and you really get to see the full nuance of his character, how well he articulates himself, his research into it. However, like I said, it's opened the door to charlatans.
Saw her say that Will Smith had a small dick.
Oh, I am saying to you, if a woman is used to something the size of a baby leg, and you come in with a pinky toe, there's nothing you can do to please her. You can buy her 80 cars, you can get her 80 private jets. If she's itching for that baby leg, she want that baby leg. And then I've saw sexual acts that I walked in on.
Who'd you walk in on?
Him and Dwayne Martin.
Okay,
Hollywood is the hurry up and wait game. So 3 minutes later, after them telling me, hey, you got eyes on Will, we need him to come watch this. So I'm running all over the studio. He's not in his dressing room. I go to the cafeteria. I'm like, but I see his car there. I'm like, where's this guy at? So now I'm holding Dwayne down too, so I have the keys to his dressing room. So I'm like, yo, and they're calling I'm on walkie-talkie and they're calling my cell phone. Yo, we need to get Will here. And I'm like, yo, kind of fuck down. Like, I'm trying to find this. Like, this is unlike him, right? So, all right, I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder. There was murder in there.
Okay, so we have another post-edit clip. It wouldn't be a video of mine without it. And if you're wondering why I have a jacket and a hat on, you're not in London, you don't know how cold it was, and don't question me. You're lucky the hood's not. I am freezing. The heating is actually on too.
That doesn't even make sense.
I get cold easy in it. Anyway, the reason I put this clip in is just to consolidate and help articulate what has gone on so far. The clip you would have just seen would have been the, I believe, former security of Will Smith, essentially exposing the inner workings of Will and Jada's relationships, the dark sides of it, and what was really going on behind the pristine image. And I want everyone here that's watching this, whether it's 1, 2, or 2 million, to ask yourself, what kind of friend is that? Why aren't we questioning the exposers more? I have alluded to that throughout the video, but I don't think I've been explicit enough. We don't question the exposers more. This clip of Katt Williams talking about he's the one that discovered or revealed to Steph Curry he should shoot more.
Told Steph Curry to shoot from deep.
Look, it doesn't... Anybody that knows me know I don't claim the shit that I do. That's not part of doing it. It's doing what it is and letting that be it. But I am responsible for the greatest shooter in the NBA without question, right? So now I'm gonna tell this story and the jury will decide whether or not I'm being facetious or not.
Make it make sense. Like, so what, he's single-handedly behind the three-point revolution in the NBA? Like, what sense is that? What sense is that really? And it's not that I think he's particularly lying about the conversation. I think he may just be overstating his place in it. Now, his inner workings and his inner relationships with Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, I don't think is a lie. I don't think it's something that he's making up. However, Katt Williams, who is someone who was portrayed to be mad, but actually was made to seem being mad, was caught in incidents that weren't exactly what we thought they were, maybe presented and articulated differently. Even he himself is fallible to biases, revisionist history.
He was so egregious, I put in my contract that I won't work with Ricky Smiley again unless he's in a dress. Now, what was Ricky Smiley's next movie? Was it First Sunday? Did he wear a dress in it? You bet he did. It's in my contract.
Why would you put that in your contract, Katt?
That's where he's a believable actor. Him and Tyler Perry can't play a man to save their life. They play good women, and I believe that the best actor should be in the best role.
And those other people that are speaking on the more salacious aspects, whether that's the Jagger Rat, who's a joke, whether that be Will Smith's former bodyguard, who at the very least is just a bad friend, and at the worst, a liar, or perhaps something in between, someone manipulating truth and lies, and sometimes the best lies are mixed in with the truth. We need to question these people more. And when I talk about institutions, erosion of trust, I question are people, and I say this about Diddy all the time. My guy FD Signify spoke about the culture around Diddy, the culture that created Diddy.
This type of exploitative power was so normal that it was expected, because please believe Diddy is not alone, not just in the possibility of sex crimes, but in the exploitative nature of the entire industry. While in many ways Diddy is uniquely bad, specifically with his sex crimes, understand that he is just a part of a greater culture of exploitation. Almost all the celebrity record executives that we knew and loved during that era moved the exact same way. Jay-Z snaked Benny Siegel out of opportunities, to which Benny Siegel holds a grudge for to this day. Also, the way Jay-Z sold out Rockefeller Records under the nose of Dame Dash, who has really never recovered from this, is one of the dirtiest moves in the history of hip-hop. Baby of Cash Money Records fame is notorious for snaking people out of money. He and Lil Wayne aren't cool to this day because of unpaid funds, and Baby not paying Pharrell for the beat and what happened to that boy is low-key the butterfly effect of how we eventually get to the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef from earlier this year. Speaking of Pharrell, although he's quite beloved in the culture and is presented as one of the industry's good guys, when it comes to this exploitative practice, he's no different. Remember that whole beef between Beyonce and Khalees a couple of years ago when Beyonce dropped Renaissance and had a song sampling Khalees' voice on the album and tried to give her a feature credit, and Khalees got angry about it because she knew she wasn't getting paid from that feature, and she knew Beyonce knew this. Now, the way that eventually played out was wrong because Khalees started beefing with Beyonce when Khalees' real beef is with Pharrell. Point here is to recognize that the exploitation of the women in this case is just a different category of the exploitation of everybody involved. Because exploitation is a core feature of this industry, artists create amazing art and the industry seeks ways to exploit that art to the fullest. And it'd be one thing if they just took a portion of the artist's earnings as a repayment for investing in them, or they paid a fee over the course of being on the label or something along those lines. But these record labels, going back to all those names I listed early on with Rakim, they don't just get money from their investment, they own the rights to the artist's music and publishing, meaning that those great songs that you love from your favorite artists, when you stream that, when you play it on a CD or a record, even if you're just going to a concert, even if you're going to a party and hearing a DJ play the music live, that money isn't going to those artists if those artists don't own their publishing rights.
And I say this to be very clear. Are we more concerned about just taking celebrities down? Or are we actually appalled by what they did and want to change the culture? Honest question, put into the comments what you think. I genuinely want to hear that. But the reason I'm posing that question is because we're so fixated on the alleged anal sex between Dwayne Martin and Will Smith and not them lying. What else could they be lying about? The reason, if you've watched 3 of my videos that discuss celebrities, you would see that the amount of times I've spoken about people focusing more on the gay jokes than Diddy's behavior is because why is no one talking about the culture that created him? Do you want things changed? Or do you just want to make jokes and expose and tear down and cancel, as that gives some sort of catharsis to people who are not doing as well as they like, or society has made them feel hard done by, which we all feel fair is a place where pigs are judged, it's not in reality. Is that what we want? Do we just want celebrities down, or do we want to change? I'm gonna leave that to you. Put into the comments section what you think. I'm gonna go back to the regularly scheduled programming. We'll be somewhere near the conclusion, so we won't be going on for too much longer. But I wanted to pose that question because ultimately, that is what this video is about. Do we want change, or are we just happy to hear teardowns? And is that why we're not spending more time discussing the actual poignant points that they're making out? The cabals, the gatekeepers. Monique has been speaking about that for ages. Yet her video, funny enough, did a lot of views, but it didn't create nearly the same level of traction that Katt Williams did. What do we really care about? On to the next segment.
Heard on the street, Taraji, you had the audacity to say you're thinking about stopping acting. We said, stop talking. Are you thinking about it?
I'm just tired of working
being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, you work a lot. Well, have to. The math ain't mathing. And when you start working a lot, you know, you have a team. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. The fact that we're up, here's a whole entire team behind us. They have to get paid. So when you hear someone saying, oh, such and such made $10 million, no, that's not, that didn't make it to their account. Know that off the top, Uncle Sam is getting 50%, okay? So do the math. Now we have 5 million. Your team is getting 30% or whatever your team is off of what you grossed, not after what Uncle Sam took. Now do the math. So I'm only human, and it seems every time I do something and I break another glass ceiling, when it's time to renegotiate, I'm at the bottom again, like I never did what I.
Monique spoke on Taraji P. Henson, so did Katt Williams. But far too often, what happened, what was said, was completely missed from the point. And I do believe Shannon Sharpe is a great interviewer. I think for him to make them feel so relaxed to speak about it and feel safe, and to speak about the different issues that were going on in their lives and how they've been blackballed is important to say. Again, I do wish he pushed back on some of the things that he said, i.e. Katt Williams' Illuminati reference.
No, so there was a crossroads where we were both invited to an Illuminati thing, and it had to be one or the other of us, and decisions had to be made. So it was both of us, we were equal. One of us had to cut off all their hair and couldn't do the sideburn thing no more with the points. And the next person, they said, was going to get $200 million because they were going to pay him $10 million a movie to do 20 movies. And that's how the conversation happened. One of those persons turned out to be Ludacris, and the other person turned out to be Katt Williams. Now, one person ended up with a light-skinned, ugly-faced wife that's never done a... Remember I told you that if I say that, it applied to 7 people? Yes. It's part of what they give you. Okay? I didn't get it. I'm not mad about it.
How much money they give? 200?
Sir, Fast and Furious is on what number right
10.
now? No one has asked, how did you get into the Illuminati? What's the ways in which you get in? I wish, and I'm not saying telling Shannon Sharpe how to do his job or what I would have done in that position, but I believe those lack of questionings create the environment where you have people who just go online, say anything salacious, have a loose connection to a celebrity, and have their 15 minutes of fame. It's a great shame.
You said we could talk about that.
See what I don't want to see. Here's my thing, Tasha. What I don't want to do is make this a Will bashing, right? Because
that's not bashing. I just want to know what the hell happened on that balcony.
So this is what I'll say to you. I'm gonna play a video today.
Okay.
Where Will is grabbing another man's penis, right? Mm-hmm. Playing with his nipple and trying to put his finger up his butt, right? I'm playing the video because of Jada saying she made another statement to TMZ that, oh, Will doesn't like men or any of that. Well, why is he out here grabbing men's penises?
This isn't just a call for better journalism. This is a call for better integrity. Not by necessarily the Club Shay Shays of the world, but just the people who comment on it, the people who put the TikToks out there. I understand probably more than most people the need for content, the need for viewerships, but perhaps as content creators, as journalists out there, I would hope people would take the time to have the discernment before they put information out there as if it was true. At least preface it if you want to enter the world of salacious commentary. Me and my friends, one of my particular friends, we always talk about having solutions to problems. Don't present us with a problem, present us with a solution. And I wish sometimes when we're doing the commentary on these interviews, these exposés, and it's not for the interviewer per se in that moment, but the people who do the commentary over it, to talk about solutions, not just takedowns of figureheads. I mean, we know for facts that celebrities are not the beholders and the key holders of power. I mean, for years, people used to say Jay-Z is a 5th degree Illuminati Mason. I mean, what is that? How do you know that? And are you part of them too? I would love to know. Literally, let us know in the comments. I do know entering a Masonry is easier than an Illuminati. All jokes aside, how do we get past this culture which created a Diddy who could run amok for years, abusing and taking advantage of people for years, and that FD signified documentary, and that's what it is, about it signified that for years, no pun intended. How did we get into a culture where people have so much disdain towards Jay-Z, for example? Is it because he's painted himself as the face of capitalists in a sort of altruistic kind of way? Why don't we address culture, institutions, alongside those people who have abused it as well, but not just attacking any celebrity that has any sort of salacious gossip towards it, without fully addressing what created these environments? I mean, I get the Will and Jada stuff is more funny than anything, but I wish we would spend more time addressing institutions and cultures instead of just attacking people. It does come a little bit as well from, economic deprivation that is happening throughout the Western world, I should say. That's whether that be US, UK, France, Germany. There is that which fuels the blood of people turning against celebrities and wanting to see anyone who seems to have a decadent lifestyle fall if they don't match any sort of pure morality test. But what we don't understand, if we make that the benchmark for people at the richest at the top who find it easy to skirt around the rules, imagine us at below. We would be the most valuable to any sort of tiny infringement. So let's have a better conversation about these exposés, more analysis if they're true. Katt Williams, for the most part, was true. Some was a bit more just his opinion, his take, but he's allowed to feel, I guess the word is bitter and wrongly crucified for his character, where people have been more fallible than him. He's allowed to feel like that. Monique has been labeled difficult. She's been labeled a number of things, and I can understand why she's labeled difficult. However, truth be told, there needs to be a greater conversation about how black actresses, comedians are paid, black women in general are paid compared to their white counterparts. They perform some of the highest in society, even in UK and US statistics. They tend to, for a lot, in most demographics, be outworking their black male counterparts, and the fact that there's still some sort of discrepancy in the payment is sad. And I know when it comes to the case of Monique, we're arguing for a millionaire to have more millionaires.
What on earth are you talking about?
We're arguing for a millionaire to have more millions, but I would presume if we make those arguments for the people at the top, it would trickle down and we'd make those arguments for ourselves. I know trickle down has a bad reputation, but it is what it is. We move. The purpose of this episode was to improve the conversation around these exposés and improve our own thinking and perception of when we see a celebrity exposed. And Katt Williams was a starting point of that. His was an okay one. I think even a good one, if I'm being honest. But instead of just taking everyone as Katt Williams, have a more discerning eye, like I love to say. Have a greater understanding of the facts surrounding the case. And before you tear someone down and chastise them, think, what was the agenda of the interviewer? The purpose of today's episode was to create a conversation, a dialogue that was a bit more honest and a little bit less salacious about what happens with celebrity exposés. It's less of the takedowns and looking at the culture, the environment that these foster for these people to be these kind of gatekeepers, these malevolent characters, actually looking at supporting independent comedians, independent artists, independent film, changing the narrative and just changing the way that we look and discuss celebrities and their wrongdoings and how they got there in the first place. I think once we look at it from a different, more holistic point of view, we can actually change the culture and change the frequency in which it happens the most. I hope that makes sense. I hope I made sense there. Did I make sense there? It doesn't matter. I know you know what I meant. But we're trying to change the dialogue. 2025 is a new year. Can't wait to see you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next week. Peace.
Only one of our hands moving while we talk.
Are you all right this morning? Are you okay this
Red
morning?
Grant, Atlanta Comedy.
Tell Wanda to take off them headphones and that wig.
And make sure.
That wig and that headphones
and
come
take off
together.
them old ass. Shh.